It was late one night when I was driving across the old iron bridge just past midnight. Another late night at the office, and I was exhausted. The lights of my car swept over the two-lane bridge. Above the entrance of the bridge was an old sign that declared the age and name of the iron bridge. The sign was too rusted over to read at this point, and it had been for years, so everyone just called it the Old Iron Bridge. As I drove over the bridge, I could hear rattling outside while I said a silent prayer to Hermes. The old iron bridge had been rattling when people drove over it for years, too. The mayor kept swearing it was safe and that repairs on the bridge would eventually happen, but that would also require that the bridge would be shut down for days or even weeks at a time while repairs were done. So every time a block of time was cleared to work on the bridge, there would be calls for further delays. Everyone wanted the bridge to be in working shape, but no one wanted it to close to do that. So the most reasonable compromise to Pleasant Point was the bridge hadn't fallen yet, so repairs would be delayed until it could no longer be delayed. So that would mean nights like tonight, I would drive across the rattling bridge, praying that the bridge wouldn't fall while I kept pushing myself forward. Halfway across the bridge, I saw something move just beyond the edge of my headlights. Seeing movement and fearing a pedestrian, I slammed my brakes and came to a screeching halt. My car halted. I looked down the road. The road was still there, and so was the iron supports. I glanced towards the small sidewalks on the side of the bridge, and I saw nothing. I checked my mirrors, and I turned my head around to look behind me to see if they ran behind me somehow. No one was anywhere, as far as I could tell. I felt the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. My heart began to race, and my mouth dried out. A cold sweat on my forehead and a little voice in my head telling me to check outside. I checked the road in front of me and behind me again as I put my car in park, and I step outside. The night air is cool, and other than my headlights, the only lights are the stars above. I step to the railing, and I look over the river. It is peaceful. The smell of water running over stone wafted up to me. Stars twinkled above, and the gentle breeze caressed me. And I could feel muscles in my back and head start to unclench. Muscles that I didn't even know were tense were starting to relax. After a few more minutes of this, I turned back to where my car was when I saw it for the first time. It was crouched on the hood of my car. It was shaped almost like a man. It had 2 arms and 2 legs and 1 head. But men don't have 2 large moth-like wings on their backs. The patterns on the wings looked like the eyes and nose of a much, much larger predator, while the breeze gently pushed past the beast's wings. The beast's feet and hands alike ended in sharp claws that bite into the metal of my car's hood, strong and sharp enough to leave metal in shreds without me hearing the metal tearing. But the beast's face was the worst part. Its face was covered by an old miner's gas mask. The filter resembled the proboscis of a massive insect. The glass goggles were cracked and dirty, but could not hide the beast's glowing, compound red eyes. The helmet on the creature's head was also cracked, patched, and cracked over. I could see stickers, glue, and duct tape barely holding the creature's mask together. But even age couldn't disguise the brown stains on the helmet. Blood. A lot of blood covered its helmet. I saw the beast, and I saw that it was on my car, so in fear, I did the only thing I could think of. I ran. I ran as quickly as I could back towards town, away from that fearsome beast. As I ran with wind screeching past my ears, I kept seeing in my mind's eye the beast taking flight, chasing me through the air, ducking and weaving through the iron supports, sharp claws mere centimeters behind me. This image pushed me faster and further as I finally made my way off the bridge and into the nearby woods. Once I passed the first tree, I felt safe enough to turn and face my pursuer. What I saw instead was the creature was still on the bridge, resting on the old sign over the bridge. Observing me through the goggles, the red eyes stared at me, and I stared back. For what felt like hours, but was probably less than a minute, we just stared at each other when I heard more rattling and groaning from the bridge. My eyes drawn to the noise, I saw that the old iron bridge was bending. The columns beneath the bridge were toppling like children's blocks. A long, loud crack of crumbling cement, concrete, and iron, simply snapping from the pressure as the columns fell, taking with it the road above and my car down into the river. The iron supports over the top of the bridge lasted a few extra seconds, but they were also pulled down, snapping like dry spaghetti noodles, folding onto itself and falling into the river alongside the rest of the bridge. A bridge that would have collapsed with me on it if I remained in my car, or if I kept trying to drive across the bridge. The beast, whatever it was, it knew the bridge was going to collapse, and it took the time to warn me in its own strange way. When I turned my eyes to where the beast was waiting on the sign, I saw that it was gone, leaving me alone on the road, with my car gone, the bridge gone, and a long walk back to the police station, and a longer walk home.